All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Majid Jamil and Dotun Oladipo right here in the studio with me. So let's continue with the conversation. In politics, the will of the people is the ultimate victory in any democracy. In recognition of this, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on his victory in the Ondo State governorship election. The president also commended people of the state for their peaceful conduct during the polls, describing the process as a step forward in Nigeria's democratic journey. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has rejected the results, stating that it is reviewing the outcome and considering further actions. Governor Aiyedatiwa, who won the election on Saturday, polled 366,781 votes to defeat his closest rival, Agboola Ajayi of the PDP, with 117,845 votes. All right, let's bring the conversation home. Majid, let's start this way. President Bola Tinubu commended the electorate for the peaceful conduct, but first of all, what do you think is responsible, for the peaceful conduct of the election on Saturday?
Yeah, recall that about, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, myself and Jide, we were on this program where we analyzed the debate, the political debate between the two major candidates.
Yes.
And I think our verdict that day was that it was going to be a no contest. In fact, I recalled Jide saying that it will be a whitewash. And I said it might be between 70 to 30 or 65 to 35%. Because that weekend I was in Ondo State, and I went around and I
see things yourself.
I saw things, and the debate even rather further emboldened the APC the more. It's not a result that is a shock. It's expected.
You saw it coming.
It's something people saw coming, and that was why there was no violence. I mean, everything went peacefully, and from the last count, 366,000 to 117,000 is about 74% to 24%, and 18 local governments of Ondo State, even the PDP candidate, Agboola Ajayi, was defeated in his own local government. He scored 0. He didn't win in any local government, although he won his polling units, expectedly so. But he lost his local government, lost the state, lost his ward. So in 2020, he was also on the ballot. I think he was on Zenith Labour Party. He came probably 3rd or 4th then. So it's even lucky he has advanced.
Moved up.
He has moved up. But then in 2020, a combination of Aiyedatiwa and the late Akeredolu won 15 of the 18 local governments. And even then, it was a record because no party had won up to 15 local governments before. That was 2020. So this one is like Aiyedatiwa succeeded in breaking
the record.
The record set by himself and the later. So, which means the APC is like more on ground in Ondo State. And for those who care to listen, I think Anambra will be before Ekiti.
Okay.
The same thing will happen in Ekiti State. In fact, Ekiti might be like 80 to 20. And Osun, it's going to be a king contest. I'm not going to talk on Osun now, but I think the chairman of the party said...
we're still going to get to that. We'll still get to that. But Governor Aiyedatiwa also commended the president, for allowing for a level playing field for all the candidates. But I want to know, how did the president do it to allow for a level playing field?
Well, it's for him not to interfere.
Non-interference.
Non-interference. I said it the last time I came on this program that for those who are thinking there will be violence, it will be an anticlimax. Because this is a state where also the governor has learned a few lessons.
Okay.
I've always referred to some of the off-cycle elections we have had. When you look at the comportment of the man at the helm of affairs, you will know if he's going to succeed. And I'll cite one or two examples. Despite the fact that the man had a tough time succeeding the late Rotimi Akeredolu, have you seen anywhere he has abused that family or the supporters of the man? That is common sense. Once you learn how to live peacefully with your enemy, which some governors are beginning to imbibe now, you will always have your way. He did not come at the time he became governor to start fighting everybody. Now I have power. Even in his acceptance speech, he still dedicated that victory to the family of Akeredolu and his camp.
Yeah.
Because he knew that at any point he decides to go against those people, they are going to decamp. And the next place for them will be to go to the PDP or the Zenith Labour Party. And that would have made it very tough for him. So when you have situations like that, there is nothing else to expect. I got a voice note, almost about 6 minutes, from one of our top Nigerian actors, Yomi Fashlanso. And he was talking about some of the things he noticed about that election. One, the man came in, like I said, made peace. Two, every unpaid money to pensioners, to civil servants, he started sorting it out.
Yeah.
He was also talking to his brother governors, especially that of Ekiti. How do we ensure that the roads linking our states get better?
Yeah.
Even if it's palliative measures, let's put in place. You can see that on ground. He was also talking to others,
and even
APC people, not fighting them. That's why the governor Sanwo-Olu and Ahmed Ododo, they could leave and go and say, we are here with you.
Yeah.
He wasn't combative, despite the fact that those people were earlier relating with Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu. When you are a man of peace, in fact, I saw a video where I went into the situation room after winning the election. He drove himself. The way he comported himself as they were hailing him, you will see that he's a calm person. And he may not be the most outspoken, may not be the most brilliant person, but it shows somebody who listens. When you listen to good advice, you'll succeed. And that is why that election was a no contest, especially because also the PDP was in disarray.
Yeah.
The PDP was in disarray.
Now, we'll still talk about opposition right now, but you were saying something when it comes to what the APC national chairman said. Like he said, the next targets are Osun and Oyo State for political homogeneity, in the south.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how feasible is this?
Well, like I said, he didn't talk about Ekiti. The next election in the southwest is Ekiti, and after that will be June 2026. Okay, and July 2026 will be Osun. Yeah. He was specific about Osun for several reasons, and Osun is going to be interesting.
The PDP
and also
all the parties.
Although also Oyo will be very interesting.
Exactly,
because the incumbent will be leaving. So it's not returning.
Yes.
So, Osun, the incumbent, Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke, will still be contesting.
Yes.
So, but Osun has always been almost 50-50 for APC and PDP. Same with Oyo, almost 50-50. So it's going to be interesting elections. But if APC fields the right candidate in Osun, they can take Osun. But they will need to harmonize themselves.
You think the power of incumbency would not? play a factor there?
Yeah. See, today, as of today, the PDP has an edge in Osun.
Because of
the incumbents.
Incumbents, okay.
Yeah. But if the APC goes into that election with a divided house in Osun, it might be difficult for them to take. In Oyo, it's almost 50-50 because the kind of interest Seyi Makinde will put in that election won't be much because he is not going to be the candidate. And that is very, very key. And it now depends on the candidate. It's going to be between APC and PDP.
Not any other party.
Not any other party.
In
the Southwest, you can see the PDP, the Labour Party in Ondo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Scoring less than 1%.
We're going to talk about that.
So, Osun and Oyo will be interesting. But, Osun is off cycle, while Oyo is going to happen during the general election. But I think I must commend the security for the Ondo election. The deployment, I listened to the head of the police team, DIG Biodun Alabi, who was former commissioner of police in Lagos. He said a commissioner of police was deployed to each of the 18 local governments. And they had about 34,000 men, both in collaboration with the Navy. There's a lot there. We have a lot of riverine areas.
Yeah, exactly.
And INEC too, we should commend them because despite the fact that we had riverine areas, election materials got to most polling units. About 90% of the polling units before 8 a.m. On election day. It was quite unprecedented.
Okay.
So INEC did better. And by 8 p.m., INEC had uploaded more than 92% of the results into its IREF. Okay. And you could see it online real time. So kudos to INEC.
All right, then. Let's talk opposition. The Labour Party, the candidates. He blamed the party's internal crisis.
Peter Obi.
And Peter Obi for the defeat. While the PDP is also blaming the process. Now, let's talk about the opposition. Do you think the opposition, let's say in Ondo State, do you think they prepared well enough for this election?
Well, it's not about...
And also, do you think they'll do a good fight in future elections?
Any party that wants to go into an election now, very clearly, should have realized that going with a divided house won't bring you any result. It is better for you, even before your primaries, to have sorted yourselves out. Labour Party is blaming Peter Obi for that because they didn't go into the primaries as a united front. Everybody was fighting. The PDP had more decorum, but also they've lost so many of their prominent members to the APC. In fact, a lot of those who contested the primaries of the APC were from PDP. They left the party. So when a PDP, for instance, says they are studying the outcome, I don't expect them to study anything. And I'm being serious about that. Because I don't know what facts they are going to present in court to be able to turn the result. Where you all have about
the electoral
a 75% to 25% result. That's a lot, if you ask me. If we are talking about 56 to 44, you can begin to say, okay, there is an element of a probability something happens.
So we should expect more litigation.
In between. No, I don't. They said they are studying. It's not as if they are going to court yet. What the opposition needs to realize, like I've said, is before the primaries, ensure you don't have a divided house. Don't say, let us conclude the primaries and then we begin to resolve our issues. It's not working again.
It's not working.
It's not working.
All right. We are pressed for time, okay? In a couple of minutes, we're going to be rounding off. But looking at the Ondo State election, the election was peaceful, but it was marred by one thing: voter apathy. People did not really come out. Edo State, out of the many persons who actually got their PVCs, they got about maybe 26% voter turnout. Same here in Ondo State, looking at the number of people who got their PVCs. Now, let's look at this in proper context, Nigeria's democracy. What does this portend for Nigeria's democracy in the next 10 years if people are gradually withdrawing from, participation in elections?
Well, I won't say people are withdrawing from participating in elections. Our level of political awareness in Nigeria is still very low.
What is responsible for that?
Well, because in times past, the average turnout on election day has always been lower than 40%. There's no election except the ones where they were writing in the Obasanjo's era, where they just we see 2 million people registered, 2 million registered voters, and they even returned more than 2 million. We've seen it happen in Rivers. But with the introduction of beavers and technology, it has moderated this, but even at that, it is still low. I think we need more awareness, and I think the political gladiators should do more for the people who elected them. People want to see more dividends of democracy. Some people will just tell you, well, after I vote once and in another 4 years, I won't see them in another 4 years, especially those in the rural areas, except a few people, who see that there is provision of light, electricity, health, education, and basic information.
You don't see the trust in the electoral umpire?
Yeah,
no. It's not a factor.
No. Is that I don't think the trust in the umpire is the factor here. I don't think so. Because look at the Ondo election, for example.
Okay.
Only very few people will blame INEC. Only very few people. Of course, sad and sour losers will blame INEC. The Labour Party guy didn't blame INEC. He blamed his leadership. And for PDP, I wonder why a PDP candidate or the PDP as a party will blame INEC when your house is not. How many of their governors went to campaign for Agbola in Ondo State?
That's another one.
How many of their governors supported him? Only Adeleke and Makinde. Meanwhile, compared to that of APC, the governor of Kogi, Lagos, Ekiti, even Zulum, from far away, Bonu, also it was there. Opusodima was there. Several APC governors went to support their own. Just like in Edo too, how many PDP governors supported the PDP candidates in Edo? So these are factors. And elections, you need money to prosecute elections. For example, on election day, you are mandated to pay your party agents and party canvassers at least two per polling unit. You have about 3,000 polling units in the Ondo election, and you pay each of them 10,000. So it's not this is not money to bribe electorate or to do anything, but money that mandatorily you are supposed to pay them for standing and monitoring your election, the process from morning till 6 p.m. So, where does it get the funding from? So these are issues that comes to play, and for PDP, if they fail to put the house in order, they will continue to see this kind of results going forward.
Now let's talk, voter apathy. What does this portend for Nigeria's democracy in the next 10 years?
But it's not only Nigeria. Check out the last US election. A drop also. So it's like...
Well, you can't compare that drop to
no.
we're having. We saw the Liberian election.
It's always dropping every year. The last election in Ondo State had that 1.6% voter turnout. This one, 24.8%. Don't be shocked that the next one could be 20%. Because for reasons that are unfolding, people are beginning to lose interest.
Why?
Yes, that's why we're saying unfolding. Some are not seeing the dividends of democracy from the leaders.
Okay.
So that's whoever wants to get there, get there. Some already believe, without any empirical evidence, that the election will be rigged. Some are scared of violence.
Okay.
And we had one report from one polling unit only in the last election in Ondo State, meaning that is becoming obsolete now. So there are so many reasons why people don't want to go out to vote. Some already believe whoever will win, will win. God anoints the leader. It's only God that chooses the leader.
Okay.
And that also, we have seen, is failing us. Because the moment you don't put who you want to be in power there by voting, then you have lost the right.
So we're pressed for time now. Solution. How do we change this narrative?
Solution. Number one is we should start voting online. Before the US election actually took place physically, about 75 million people, 75 million had already voted.
Early voting.
Early voters. And they didn't go to any polling unit to vote. It was right from their system.
So
if we can get our system right, that will be devoid of fraud, we'll be able to achieve that. Number two, our leaders should impact on the society. The moment we have too many complaints, bad road, bad this, bad that, and nobody is offering any explanation, it becomes a problem. They see the governor as a failure when federal roads are bad.
True.
They see the local government chairman as a failure when state roads are bad. So we must have belief in our electoral umpire.
Okay.
The moment we still doubt that they will be able to.
All right.
You know?
All right. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, gentlemen. Majid Jamiu, appreciate you as always.
Thank you.
For your honest thoughts. Thank you so much. And also, Dr. Aiyedatiwa, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.